guys, Robert Murphy from Holistic Healing Choices here. Now today I'm going to share a hypnosis that's personally helped me. This is the quit smoking one, or stop smoking, more to the point. So this one has helped me personally give up for around about 2 years. Now while recently I've slipped up, while drinking alcohol with friends, peer pressure sort of thing, it has been a pretty consistent sort of thing, and even when I'm not under the influence of alcohol, I have no desire at all to even smoke. In those instances where I have slipped up, it's only been 1 or 2 sort of cigarettes. So this does work if you want it to. Now the reason I've slipped up, I don't know. That one I have to explore myself, but I'm going to keep re-listening to this hypnosis as well to ensure that, I don't do it ever again. But as with everything, so hypnosis will only make you do what you want to do. So if you have no desire to quit, if you're one of the people that's gonna quit, this probably won't have any effect. But if you are determined to quit, you've tried numerous things time and time again, this will help. Now, the line that specifically spoke to me was about how you never know which cigarette's going to do you damage, and how, I don't want to give too much away in there, but more or less smoking's like that friend that always borrows from you, that borrows that money, that takes up your time, stops you putting effort into other things, stuff like that. Those are the words in there that really spoke to me. But there is so much more else in this quick, easy hypnosis. So once again, this will be available down below on a SoundCloud link, so you can listen to it by itself wherever and download it. So please, if you really want to quit smoking, use this as much as possible. Before you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, if you're doing a meditation, this will change your health. This will help change your life. So now, find a comfortable position and just let your eyes rest closed as you consider, not just with your conscious mind, the following words. Notice how your lungs can naturally allow relaxation and calm to drift up and around the body, and how, in a few moments, your mind can begin to feel soothed and rested as you find yourself relaxing more and more. From the toes on your feet to the fingers of your hand and everywhere else. It's almost like rest and relaxation drift around you and through you, bringing peace and calm. Now, most people know that smoking restricts blood flow and oxygen into all the organs, including the brain and the sexual organs, suffocating their life supply. But this knowledge isn't enough to kill smoking off. We know that smoking breaks down collagen in the skin, making it wrinkle and sag much quicker than it should. But this still isn't enough motivation for many to quit. So how does smoking trick people? And people say things like, "Yes, I know I should stop." But this is not the same as just stopping, of course. And when you're a real non-smoker, smoking just becomes irrelevant. It just no longer applies. Like any of those things that you used to do, but just don't do that anymore. When you were growing up and your feet grew too big, the shoes that you had really began to squeeze, and you didn't have to give up wearing those shoes. It's just that they were beginning to pinch so much that you outgrew them and stopped using them. Because they were really starting to squeeze. The shoe just doesn't fit anymore. Smoking squeezes the body more than shoes do, of course, and distorts all the cells of the body. Those cigarettes squeeze the arteries, which are just trying to do their job, delivering air and life to the different parts of your body. And they squeeze out time from your life. Smoking is squeezing, and when you really stop, it's because you've grown out of them. And people talk of addiction, but all nicotine traces are gone from the body in 48 hours. And even heavy smokers can sleep for 8 hours without being woken up by any so-called need. So the physical side is really much weaker than you may have believed. And people have attached smoking behaviour to just about everything, from celebrating to commiserating, from calming themselves down to pepping themselves up. Smoking gets falsely linked to all these times. Smoking worms its way in where it really doesn't belong. Smoking brainwashes people to think in mechanical ways. In fact, smoking is just like a dirty parasite that worms its way inside you and then demands feeding at the expense of your body and your life. It depends on you feeding it. Smoking doesn't like people rebelling against it. It likes its victims to feed it regularly, at your own expense. Some people are conned by smoking, and like a really clever trap, it cons you into behaving and thinking in certain ways. And how have cigarettes been lying to you and tricking you into aging faster? Imagine something that literally makes you wither away. And how could someone delay quitting if even for one moment? Even now, that parasite is growing weaker and weaker, losing its power to dictate to you and boss you around. In your mind right now, almost like a waking dream, really notice different times, different places, where formerly you would have smoked, and notice these times in depth and very naturally as a non-smoker. And you've heard of the straw that broke the camel's back. One final straw, on top of all the thousands that went before, was enough to do all the damage. And you never know which cigarette will do the damage. Could be the one that you hurry over, or sit down with and take time over. Which one, on top of all those ones that went before, starts a chain reaction? You know what a dictatorship is, do you not? That heart sitting inside you never had any choice about that toxic smoke. It's been looking out for you since the beginning, like a loyal friend, giving life to you. It's been forced to work under increasingly difficult conditions. The arteries becoming pinched, the blood supply being sabotaged by such a small part of you dominating all these other parts. Those lungs never had any freedom of speech. They were made to do all that unpaid overtime. Those cells of your body, the main bulk of the population, never had any say, never had a voice, attempting to carry out their jobs, only to be undermined by 2,000 different chemicals, compromising their very structure. They didn't want that, but they've had no representation. I wonder, what would your heart say to you if it had words? If after all that undermining, it finally had that freedom of speech? And everybody is born a non-smoker. And everybody dies a non-smoker. It really is a question of how much time they spend being pushed around in the middle. Your unconscious mind actually has every interest in you escaping that smoking trap. And you can be very curious just how your subconscious mind will change the feelings, even when you think about those cigarettes, and easily change what you do now. And you can fast forward through a day at work. Then a week. And into the future as a non-smoker, where one day today will be a very long time ago. And it will seem that smoking was a very long time ago, when you've been free of smoking for 10 years and more. You'll know that you smoked at one time, but it seems like such a long time ago. And notice whole days in your mind, and weeks in your mind, and months in your mind, free of it, into years and years. Those hands are going to be so reluctant and numb feeling about assisting that smoking parasite, because they rely for life on the heart to give you that blood. Sometimes they'll even feel a little numb for a while, if that smoking parasite tries to control you again. But its voice is getting fainter and fainter. And you know, as long as the camel's back hasn't yet been broken, your body has a brave and remarkable ability to recover and heal after you've really stopped smoking. And you can notice just how your unconscious mind continues to keep you free of those cigarettes. And use your willpower as you notice how easily you resist the calls of that parasite. As you notice those calls getting weaker and weaker and fading away completely. And for now, just get the sense of drifting back, right now, into the room, feeling alive, refreshed and alert.